How many animal species do you think we've lost to extinction? Honestly, more than you can count, from the giant mammoths to the dodo or even the megalodon. But what if I told you that some of them refuse to vanish? Stay tuned, because today we're ranking 10 of the most endangered animals in the wild that almost went extinct. While we're here, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy our channel. Number 1. The gray wolf. Imagine a landscape without its top predator, overrun with deer, vegetation destroyed, and rivers losing their natural flow. That was Yellowstone before the gray wolf returned. Nearly exterminated by the 1930s, wolves were reintroduced in 1995. And you might think, just a few predators, what difference can they make? The answer is everything. By controlling elk populations, wolves allowed trees and plants to regrow, which stabilized riverbanks and brought back beavers, birds, and even bears. This is what scientists call a trophic cascade, and the gray wolf is its star performer. Their comeback story is a result of one of the most successful species reintroduction programs in conservation history, supported by federal wildlife agencies and ecological studies. Number 2. The bald eagle. Once the symbol of America's pride, the bald eagle was almost wiped out by the 1960s. Pesticides, especially DDT, caused their eggshells to thin and crack before hatching. Their numbers plummeted, and you might have wondered, would the symbol of freedom become a memory? But after DDT was banned in 1972 and intensive conservation efforts were put in place, the bald eagle soared again. Today, they're thriving, living proof that with the right protection, recovery is possible. Their comeback was driven by nationwide pesticide bans, legal protection under the Endangered Species Act, and habitat restoration programs across the U.S. Number 3. The giant panda. Who doesn't love pandas? But behind that adorable face lies a history of struggle. By the 1980s, fewer than 1,000 pandas remained in the wild due to deforestation and habitat loss. The destruction of bamboo forests, their primary food source, posed a serious threat to their survival. China launched an extensive conservation campaign, establishing over 60 panda reserves and enforcing strict anti-poaching laws. By 2016, the giant panda was officially downgraded from endangered to vulnerable, with over 1,800 now living in the wild. Their recovery is a testament to long-term commitment and international collaboration. Number 4. The humpback whale. By the mid-20th century, the haunting songs of the humpback whale were on the verge of being silenced forever. Overhunted for their blubber and meat, populations plummeted by over 90% in some regions. The oceans, once filled with their melodic calls, grew eerily quiet. But in 1986, the International Whaling Commission implemented a moratorium on commercial whaling, marking the start of the humpback's resurgence. Marine protected areas were established, giving them safe havens to breed and feed. Their population has since rebounded to over 135,000 worldwide. The humpback's comeback shows how global cooperation and protective measures can restore species once thought lost to exploitation. Number 5. The alligator. The swamps and wetlands of the southeastern U.S. were once on the brink of losing one of their most vital predators. In the mid-20th century, the American alligator was hunted extensively for its valuable skin, causing populations to plummet. By 1967, they were listed as endangered. Thanks to the Endangered Species Act and hunting bans, their numbers steadily increased. Wildlife refuges provided safe breeding grounds, and alligator farming reduced the pressure on wild populations. Their recovery wasn't just about saving a single species, it saved an entire ecosystem. As apex predators, alligators help regulate populations of fish, turtles, and other prey, maintaining the biodiversity of wetlands. Number 6. The European bison. Once roaming freely across Europe, the European bison was hunted to extinction in the wild by the early 20th century. Their survival hinged on a small number of animals kept in captivity. Conservationists launched a breeding and reintroduction program, starting with just 12 individuals from various zoos. Carefully monitored and gradually reintroduced to protected forests in Poland, Belarus, and Romania, their population began to grow. Over 7,000 bison now roam free, revitalizing ancient woodlands. Their story demonstrates the power of captive breeding programs when paired with strategic habitat restoration efforts. Number 7. The southern white rhino. At the turn of the 20th century, the southern white rhino was on the verge of extinction, with fewer than 100 individuals remaining due to rampant poaching. Their remarkable recovery began when protected areas, such as South Africa's Hluhluwe-Mfolozi Park, were established. Intensive breeding programs and anti-poaching measures were implemented, including patrols and technological innovations like drone surveillance. Today, over 20,000 southern white rhinos roam the wild, but the battle against poaching is far from over. Their future depends on continued vigilance and innovation in conservation practices. Number 8. The gorilla. Deep within Africa's forests, gorillas, our closest living relatives, once faced a dire future. Rampant poaching, widespread deforestation, and disease drove their numbers alarmingly low by the mid-20th century. In response, global conservation efforts sprang into action. Protected reserves were established and anti-poaching laws enforced, while sustainable ecotourism helped fund and empower local communities to safeguard these creatures. Today, each glimpse of a nurturing mother or vigilant silverback is a powerful reminder that with focused protection and community support, even the most endangered species can find hope and recovery. Number 9. The sea otter. Hunted to near extinction in the early 20th century for their dense fur, sea otter populations along the North Pacific coast dropped to fewer than 2,000 individuals. Their absence disrupted coastal ecosystems, leading to overgrazed kelp forests and declining biodiversity. Hunting bans and the establishment of marine sanctuaries provided the otters with a chance to recover. As their numbers grew, they helped control sea urchin populations, allowing kelp forests to flourish once again. Their story isn't just about recovery, it's about repairing an entire ecosystem that relies on their presence. Number 10. The Arabian oryx. By the early 1970s, the Arabian oryx was extinct in the wild, a victim of overhunting and habitat loss. However, conservationists didn't give up. A small number of oryx were kept in zoos and breeding centers as part of Operation Oryx. This carefully managed program bred the animals in captivity and gradually released them into protected reserves in Oman, Saudi Arabia, and Jordan. Today, with over 1,000 oryx back in the wild, their success proves that even species thought lost can return when science, cooperation, and perseverance come together. All right, we've reached the end of our journey through these incredible comeback stories, but they don't stop here. If you had a favorite moment or an animal that totally surprised you, drop it in the comments below. And hey, if you want more stories like these, go ahead and subscribe so you won't miss our next adventure. Remember, every little action we take can make a big impact on protecting wildlife. Thanks for hanging out with me, and until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.